Hey, everybody, welcome to this weekly training module for week 3 in Education for Better Work. I've titled this training module video, Work Redefined in 2023. And I could probably put that 2023 and beyond. And I could probably also retroactively say that work has been redefined for some time, but that's neither here nor there. This is really to continue our weekly class presentation from Saturday. So what I want you to remember as we get into this training module is, again, the value we can provide to prospective employers and clients is dependent on the level of skill we possess. Our proficiency at those skills is dependent on the time we spend learning them. Okay. When it comes to investing in our education, most people think of paying money, and that's true. It costs money to learn from experts and those with authority because they took their time to learn something and now they can help you avoid the mistakes they made and get the result. So when you are paying for an education, what you're paying for is the speed. With a coach or a mentor, you're able to not only accelerate your learning, eliminating the drag between learning sessions, but you'll also be able to avoid making all the mistakes that they've made. Occasionally throughout this course, we have to take a moment and review some of the definitions that we're using, because something that we work with when we create training programs for employees and teams within organizations, within companies, we have to start getting really clear on the nomenclature, right? What are we talking about when we say fill in the blank? So the definition for education, as we're using it in this class, is investing in knowledge and skills for greater leverage and opportunity to become self-reliant. Next is learning. Now, learning is defined as the acquisition of skills and the ability to translate education into value. Learning in and of itself is not work, and we shouldn't confuse becoming more skilled with working. You can learn while working, but work is the value you can provide as a result of what you've learned. The traditional understanding of work is one input to one output, like a factory worker performing one task and generating one unit of work accomplished. Okay. As discussed last week, using leverage allows us to perform work by making one input and producing greater output. So a skilled worker can effectively outwork less skilled colleagues and peers. But the more skilled worker is not actually working harder than their peers. They're not sweating more. They're not exerting themselves more. What they have done is investing more time into becoming an expert or even a master of their profession. This is why it's important to redefine that word work, because if you get caught up in the image of someone working as this huffing, puffing, the more work you do, the more tired you are, the more work you do, the more strain, all these things. That's not necessarily true. Work, if it's defined as the value you can provide as a result of what you have learned, then the hardest working person in the room is really only the most educated. They probably wouldn't tell you that they feel like they're working harder than their peers. They might acknowledge that they have worked hard in the past, though they may not really be using the definition that we're using when they say work. What they mean to say is that they've learned a lot in the past, and now they're able to accomplish a great amount of work in less time. So in week 2, I talked about how we all need to think of ourselves as a business. And using the 2 skills that you selected in the week 2 homework assignment, I want you to come up with what we call a unique value proposition. You may also know this as a unique selling proposition, a clear statement that describes the benefit of your offer, how you solve your customers' needs, and what distinguishes you from the competition. And you may say, hold up, Kevin, I'm not a business. I'm not selling anything. That's not true. As a job seeker or a future job seeker, you are first and foremost selling yourself. You have to convince others of the value, even the unique value that you can proffer them. And taking the skills that you're learning and developing and finding what the value is that you can offer because and as a result of what you're learning and what you have become proficient at, you will find that you are tailoring your education to a specific job or a specific job field. Now, some people call this like a me in 15 seconds or an elevator pitch, where you have to tell someone what you do in a short amount of time. And I want you to focus on what you will do, i.e., the value you will provide with the skills that you're developing. When you decide to invest in your education and your future, you must sacrifice. You're sacrificing time and other interests. We really live short lives, and most people don't sacrifice any of their time, they waste it. Sacrifice means to make holy, and you need to make holy a part of your time each day and each week. And this week, you're going to start a skills journal. This journal will help you accumulate at least 20 hours of learning before the end of this class, becoming proficient at one skill at a time, and you'll be able to provide documentation for your learning. If you do this, you'll have at least 20 journal entries. And I recommend devoting 1 hour each day, 5 days a week, to complete your 20 hours by the end of this class. So 5 hours per week over the next 4 weeks, really giving yourself the weekends off, okay? As I said, if you do this, you'll have these at least 20 entries, which can then turn into so many different things. It can turn into something that you add to a resume. It can be added to your LinkedIn profile. And that's exactly what I want you to use it for. I'll be monitoring your skills journal as you record your skill development, and I'll add power statements under each of your journal entries. And so in a few weeks' time, you'll have something to put on a resume or LinkedIn profile. And we will be talking more about that in week 4 and in week 5. It is just important that you actually share the homework assignment with me. And you can do that. You want to make a copy, as always, of the skills journal template in the Google Drive folder. And then you want to share it with me. You don't want to just make a copy and download it and then send it as an attachment to me in an email, because then I can't go in and actually collaborate on it. So you want to share it with my email, groundedleaderacademy@gmail.com. I may then request access as an editor, and you want to give me access to edit along with you. And that way I can fill in some information as we go. This is this week's training module. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. Otherwise, I will be visiting with you soon via your skills journal.